Hi guys, welcome to Windsome Cottage Garden. My name is Hannah and I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. We are in the home garden today. Well, more accurately, we are in my house. And in the last video I shared, we documented the decorating at the cottage for Christmas. And I thought I would take a moment to kind of walk you through the holiday decorations I have up in my new home. Now, I didn't actually film the making of video for this. Normally I would, but this year, since it is a new house, and in all honesty, I was still kind of organizing and unpacking some things as I was also decorating for the holidays, I gave myself a break and didn't film it. But I did want to share with you how the holiday decorations ended up, because I know sometimes it's fun to see how other people decorate their houses for the holidays. So I thought what we would do is kind of walk you around my holiday decorations and share some of my favorite pieces I've collected over the years with you. I'll also add really quickly that there's not a huge amount of decorations this year. Well, for me, there's not a huge amount of decorations. There's probably more than your average house has, but I go all out for Christmas. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. I like to start decorating like right after Halloween. A lot of my decorations are pretty time intensive, and I want them to be done and appreciated for a long period of time since they take so much time. So all of that being said, I only really decorated my main floor this year and had a tree up in my room, but I thought I would share those two areas with you. And no, in the future, there's probably going to be some more decorating at this house. Starting here in the kitchen, I only have two spots of holiday cheer, really. I put together a really pretty simple like tablescape with some bits and pieces I had left over from other things. I usually work these into like a longer tablescape or the mantle, but this year it just didn't really work out. But I still wanted to enjoy them. So I put this together and conveniently have it on this plate. So when I need to use the table, I just pick it up and shift it to the side. I also have this display set up, which we affectionately call the baker's rack. I don't know if that's technically what this piece of furniture is called. It's just, I inherited it from my parents, and it's a piece that I've always referred to as the baker's rack. I should also add that I'm not sure typically if it will be completely Christmas like it is right now. This was hosting a lot of plants, but I haven't really unpacked all of my like knickknacks and tchotchkes that are around year round, because I usually leave a little of those out. So you'll see in some other areas, they're completely Christmas. And it's because they were somewhat empty when I was decorating for Christmas. So I filled them with just Christmas. In the future years, these will probably be spread out throughout the house a little bit more. And I'll also have some like tchotchkes and other bits and bops around on these. But for now, it was really a blank canvas. I managed to fill admirably. You'll note if you watched the last video that my mom has a lot of these. These are Valancourt Chalkware Santas. I have a very small collection. This is one of my favorites. He's conveniently got a sugar cookie recipe right there. But then I also have some other things. I have a Lynn Haney Santa. I just love all of Lynn Haney's faces. I think they look so good. And the red of his coat really pops against some of the green of the plants that I have here and there. These are fake amaryllis, you probably could tell. But then I just have small things, like I have a couple of these little small boxes that were in my house growing up, and as my mom and dad started downsizing, I took a couple of things. And then I have some fun moments like these little Eskimos that I just kind of popped up. And combined with the plants, I think it creates a really pretty pop of holiday cheer. Directly behind me, this is our living room. And this has a lot more going on with the holidays. It's probably the biggest spot I have. Starting off, you can see that my mom did an amazing job with this. It's a little bit different than what she does, but she used a lot of picks I had. I had some faux mistletoe and some berries, as well as these really pretty pine cones that I had. And we pulled together a pretty simple but effective just mantelpiece right here. This mantelpiece is not my typical aesthetic. I'll be honest and say that the mirror in particular is really not my thing. So I've actually had all year until recently, one of these pictures I took on a trip to Ireland a number of years ago, sitting there, but I decided since I had two of them that I wanted them to fill this, and then I had to find something else to go there, and this is all I have, and it's not really the right size, but it'll do for now. And the red works, and especially because it's got red and like green and blue. It's like an embroidered piece I picked up on a trip to Croatia. A lot of my art, I don't actually have a lot of it up yet, but a lot of it are from trips and things like that that I've taken over the years, and I love having them out and intermixed with holiday decor. You might have noticed too, right here, this beauty is, I think it's from Pottery Barn. I've had it for like 8 or 9 years, but it is beautiful, and the sun on certain times of day will just kind of stream in and it'll turn into a disco. Between this and that little like tablescape that I showed you with the sparkly pine cones, they also get hit, and it'll be like a disco on the ceiling, which I kind of like. It's kind of fun. I always like being here on those bright days, especially right now when we're closer to the winter solstice. The days are still really short. It gets dark so early. Where I am in Michigan, in some ways I'm spoiled because I say it gets dark so early, but I'm kind of on the edge of a time zone. So like I'm right next to Lake Michigan, like not on it, but within 3 miles. So if I could go due west and into Wisconsin, I'd probably only be 30-ish minutes away from a timeline. So for me, I say it's really early, but it'll get dark at 5. And I know because I went to college in the central time zone, just on the other side of that timeline in the Chicago area, that 5 o'clock becomes 4 o'clock. That is really hard, especially when it's dark, so early. And that's part of why I love the Christmas cheer. And it's also why I love those days that are so bright and sunny and like the glittery glitzy hits them and reflects the light. And it just brings me moments of joy. Moving on from the mantle, I have these 2 bookcases that you kind of probably briefly saw. Let's see if I can back up enough. So these 2 bookcases, which as I mentioned earlier, don't have a lot of the stuff that will normally live on them. There's a couple things here and there, but I went all out and created just a couple series of Christmas vignettes using various things this year. You can see that I've got like a really pretty little painting, some more Valancourt, and then I have this sweet little nativity that pops in here. I also have a collection of Christmas trees. They're a little eclectic. I've got like a mix of like knit and glass and other bits and bobs, and I've just popped them around. You'll also see from here and there, I have like jars of various picks and berries. I don't do a lot with fresh arrangements, particularly inside the house. They just dry out so quickly, and even though I've got a lot of spaces that I put things like this, they're not really tall spaces. I will typically do a couple pots, especially outside of the cottage. I don't think I'm going to do any here this year, but that's something I'll probably go back to next year. But I love the use of faux berries in arrangements. I typically will pick them up on the end of season sales and just pop them away, and then I keep them for years because they provide a really nice backdrop for other treasures like this really pretty reindeer that I have a couple of, and again, some more Valancourt pieces like this little angel and Jingle Bell. I think the red berries intermingled with plants really just makes it look beautiful. It provides a really cute place for puppies to sit. She's like, "What are you doing? Why can't you sit and snuggle me, Mom?" Snuggling is her preferred mode of almost everything. On the other side, we have another bookcase that also similarly has a lot of the same types of things. I think I have a pretty eclectic, but at the same time consistent. I pick up things that I like, and they end up going together, which works out really well. This one is a little bit similar. We've got some more of those resin deer. I have this like pine cone Christmas tree thing that I actually bought, but I've been intending to make one for my mom. I bought it because my mom has a pine cone tree that was her mom's, and I saw it in the store and it just reminded me so much of it. It was so nostalgic to me. And then I just kind of popped them here. I've got a couple Yadro pieces and some other plants here and there. I've got another really pretty Lynn Haney Santa here, all backed by my Christmas tree. My mom and I actually have a very similar aesthetic. I think I'm a little bit more eclectic and colorful than her, but a lot of things are so nostalgic for me because she had them. So I've slowly started collecting the Valancourt. She has a couple Lynn Haney Santas. I don't know if we looked at them closely. But then there's a lot of other things that are similar, but slightly different. The Christmas tree star, my mom and I have the same one. I want the record to reflect I bought mine first and she liked it so much she went and bought one. I would say I have a somewhat traditional holiday aesthetic, like classic with colorful and pops of whimsy. But then my Christmas tree, like my main Christmas tree, always have to have colored lights. Because to me, that's what a Christmas tree looks like. It's not super themed. I do have one themed tree that I didn't put up this year, but even my themed tree is not super themed, if that makes any sense. It's like a loose theme. But this one is my main tree. It's got a lot of colorful ornaments in there, but there's usually an element of consistency in them. If we look closer, you will see that I did the lights on this tree, just like I did the lights at the cottage tree. I always buy unlit trees, which sometimes is a little bit hard, and then I will put my own lights on them because I like to stack lights, and by that I mean I put a lot of lights in, I make sure I kind of push them back to give the tree some depth, and then I'll also add usually at least one other style of lights. For this one, if I back up fully, you might be able to notice that there are some white fairy lights that are blinking, which kind of just gives it a little holiday glow. I also have a lot of icicles here. These are just, glass icicles. I think I bought there's 2 packs of 24 here, and some are these, I think these are 6 inches, and then some are these 3 inches. And they really allow like a consistent look that the light gleams on. Lights are really important to me. I like a lot of glitzy things, as you might be able to guess from the star. And then I just like to layer it in with nostalgic things or pretty things. Like, for example, a lot of these ornaments are from trips I've been on. Like, this is from, I think, Bath. This was an ornament on my mom's tree that I love to put out each year. I have a couple of ornaments like that. This is one that my grandpa gave me. It's broken because he gave it to me when I was 4, but, still got it going on. And I just have some bits and bots that are fun here and there from trips. This is from a trip I took to East Africa in college. I studied abroad. I could just kind of stick it in there. And then I have some really whimsical ones like the cow jumping over the moon. I have all 7 dwarves. Oh, this one's from my trip this year to England. I did a video about my trip, and the highlight of it was seeing the water lilies at Kew, so I got an ornament with that. But yeah, there's just lots of really pretty things that bounce the light off and provide like a nice backdrop for all of these things. The next space is actually in my bedroom, which might seem a bit strange, but I spend most of my time sleeping there, I guess, technically. But since you spend so much of your life in your room, I think that you should bring the Christmas spirit in. So I've done that in 2 different ways, including a Christmas tree that I have in my bedroom. That is my hands down favorite Christmas tree every year. And so usually it was in my office at my old house. Right now my office still has all my artwork I haven't put up yet. So I put it in my bedroom this year. There she is. Oh, so this Christmas tree, I have a slightly different strand of colored lights, which I love. I think when the other ones die, I might use these because they offer 2 additional colors, like this purpley color. They technically have a like aqua-y blue, as well as like a teal that's a little bit different. But this tree, it just brings me so much joy because it's got a lot of the same icicles that I like to pop on. But I made a ton of these ornaments. Not all of them, but any that you see that are painted, like this or this one, I made those. When I first got this tree, I really wanted another tree, but it was an investment. This is a Balsam Hill Sanibel Pine. I've had it for 3-ish years now. And I didn't have money for ornaments, so I decided to hand make all my ornaments because I had like paint pens, and I just bought a tub of like air drying clay and used cookie cutters. And I think they turned out so well. I love how colorful and fun and vibrant it is. I've also used some balls, which on my other tree I don't really have any balls, but one of the things that I do like about this is having some elements of consistency, especially because this tree is it's got lots of spots for you to kind of tuck things, including the lights. And I think it just gives this whole glow-like structure. Since that time, I've also picked up a couple ornaments here and there that are really just whimsical. Like I've got this cute little honey thing. I've also got this fun, kitschy little Christmassy camper, or some beautiful things like this bee is one of my favorites. I have 3 of these balloons, which I think are just, they're not Christmassy at all. I guess that's the theme. It's not super Christmassy. It's just colorful, bright moments of whimsy. And then I did work in some more traditional-ish elements. Like I have a pretty nativity scene that I made in my handmade things. I've got the ugly Christmas sweater, one of those, is it Swedish horses? I'm not entirely sure. And various other things as well that I really just enjoy. But so that's the main thing I have in my bedroom. And this year I also repurposed a couple of garlands and some really fun pom poms to zhuzh up my bed a little bit. But, oh, I should say about this. Typically, and I didn't do this on my Christmas tree this year because I couldn't find the box, I have a garland of some type in the tree to kind of add a nice consistent element throughout. My main tree typically has wood beads on it. But this guy I actually bought, and I've used it ever since the beginning. They're birthday party supplies. They're just little pom-poms that you are garlands, but because they weren't Christmas, they were significantly cheaper at the time. Inflation has happened since then. But at the time, they were significantly cheaper than any of the Christmas ones, including by the same brand. You can kind of see them here. They were just a couple, I think I bought 2 3-packs. And they just add those kind of like pom-poms throughout that you don't really notice, in all honesty. They just help provide a pop of color, but if you stood back, they do help provide some cohesion that just ties it all together, especially because it's a bit random. I think between that and the balls, I usually have put a couple of these like wood cutout stars as well, but this year I found I really didn't need them. Typically I've used them to help fill it out, but I've managed to pick up a couple pieces here and there and add to my handmade ornament collection to definitely fill the tree. So, oh, the other thing that I'll point out is this tree topper. I absolutely love it, and I didn't make it, but one thing I've learned, pro tip, you are in the market for a tree topper and you're just not finding anything in many of the stores, Etsy is the place to go look. I think they have a lot better options than your typical ones. Though the star I bought for my main Christmas tree is from Balsam Hill, and I spent a little more than I wanted to, but I knew I wanted a star, and I think I looked for like 2 or 3 Christmases before I bought it because I was like, I guess I just couldn't find anything. So then I discovered Etsy and wish I'd done it sooner. Back downstairs. And the last place that I decorated that I briefly want to share a moment with you is my outside holiday lights. Shout out to my brother Sean, because I am not fond of heights in any form, including ladders, and he helped me this year putting them on. He did come down from one of them and was like, you know, that peak is higher than I thought. I don't think I'm going to do that again. So this might be the only year they look this good, but they bring me so much joy, especially when it gets dark so late. So let me kind of go outside and show you how it looks briefly. Here she is. Doesn't she just look so cute? I typically do the little icicle lights on the house. And one of the things I started doing a couple years ago that I really love is, in addition to the icicles, I'll put a colorful strand of lights on top, so it's not just the icicles, but there's a little pop of color as well. And I had a number left over because at my old house I had some trees that I wrapped. I don't really have the right things this year to also do all of these bushes. But, oh, my dogs are kind of annoyed. I apologize if you hear them. But then it really works out with this tree right here because it provides another pop right in the doorway. I think that's going to do it for this video. I know it was a little tangential, but I really wanted to share my holiday decor this year with you because it's probably going to look very different next year, even though it's the same stuff. As I said, it'll probably be spread out a little bit oh, she had to catch her tail, spread out a little bit further, and I don't know if it'll quite look like this. So I wanted to document it and share it with you and share some of my holiday treasures as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a shift from our normal content, which is probably what you're going to see a little bit more in the winter months. Though the next video you see will be doing some winter cleanup at the cottage. I started the video a week or two ago and I need to finish it this weekend. So you will be seeing that next Saturday. Right now I'm going to attempt to post once a week. I think around the holidays I might take a break here and there, but to just kind of bring some additional content to keep this channel going until we can get to our next gardening season. I really appreciate you joining me today. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.